beautiful Doha, Qatar, it's the 2014 World Handball Championship. It is the final, a race to 13 alternate break. Now, let's meet the players. First, he hails from Blunders, Austria. Here is Albin Ouschan. Niels Feijen! Reverend Group Qatar Abdullah.
Okay, here we go. It is the finals of the World 9-Ball Championship 2014, the 23rd version of this World 9-Ball Championship, and it's an all-European final. Ted Lerner, joined by the legend, the Hall of Famer, Ralph Souquet. Ralph, did you expect to see these two in the final when this week started with 128 players?
Well, I mean, first of all, thanks for having me here, Ted, with you. Well, when the tournament started, obviously there were probably 50 players that could have made it to the finals, so it's really hard to predict who's going to make it all the way. But these two are definitely were amongst the top 50 players that I saw in the finals. Yeah, I mean, they both played great. I think actually Niels probably had his worst match in the semis just you know, an hour ago. But he still managed to get through, which shows how good his game is, even though when he is, you know, not on his best game. And yeah, I mean, they both performed very well so far, and they both deserve to be in the finals.
Now, you won this event in 1995. What mindset do you have to have coming into such a momentous event in your career?
Well, first of all, you know, it's the biggest thing you can achieve, to be in the finals of a world championship, and yeah, you just have to be ice cold on one hand, but on the other side, you need to be focused and yeah, just, you know, stay in the game. Don't have fear, and you know, just try to get or bring your A game to the table.
So the lag is won by Albin Ouschan from Austria. Looks like a good way to start off this final.
Very nice opening break here. Made 3 balls. And has a very comfortable first shot on the 3-ball in the side pocket. I think you can ask for a better break than to start in the championship finals than this one here.
Obviously, these two players know each other very well on and off the table, both being from Europe, and Albin was telling me they both play in the Bundesliga, which you play in, and on the Euro Tour, obviously.
Yep. Yeah, actually, Albin and I, we play both for the same team in Germany, for BSV Dachau. And Niels plays for a team in Oberhausen, who happens to be 5 times German champions in a row. So they basically won the championship on our home turf a few weeks ago.
Where this is the perfect opening break and rack to get the nerves calmed down in a world championship final.
But it's still not a gimmick, you know. I mean, even though it looks simple, but you know, when there is a lot of pressure in a championship final or in any final, but obviously this is maybe a little more special than normal tournaments, obviously.
$30,000 to the winner and $15,000 to the runner-up. Obviously, the mantle, the moniker of saying you are a world champion is of so much more value than just the prize money. Can bring in the sponsors, and it will make your career for many years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. The money doesn't really count at all here, because at some point the money will be gone, and but the title world champion will stay forever.
So a great opening rack for Albin Ouschan, 23 years old, from Klagenfurt, Austria. He gets on the board first. A break and run out if you're keeping score. Well, this World 9-Ball Championship began on June 16th here in Doha, Qatar, with the qualifiers, which themselves, with 128 players, was probably the toughest qualifiers they've ever had in a World 9-Ball, and some great players, even former world champions who didn't get spots through their federation, had to come and play in it. And even Elmer Haya, our semifinalist who lost to Niels, he made it through the qualifying stage. So just brutally tough. And then we moved on to stage 2, 128 players. I got some statistics here for you. In our main draw, 595 matches, 249 players overall in both stages from 53 countries.
That says it all. Yep.
And we are now down to just 2.
I was actually surprised to see that Yukio Akakariyama didn't get a spot. I mean, he won the event in 2011?
3 years ago.
So that's how strong a lot of countries are nowadays. That even a world champion can't get a direct spot into the main field.
Now Niels Feijen to break on rack number 2. And you see, as usual, the wing ball going down. Terrific shots here.
But I think it was a dry break. Yeah, only the one ball crossed the head string, and he only made one ball, so
illegal break.
It's an illegal break, or we call it dry break, so to speak.
So you must get 3 balls past that head string you see on the left side of your screen, or a combination of balls potted and balls past the head string, as long as it adds up to 3.
Yep.
And he did not. So illegal break for Feijen. Now, it should be pointed out that Albin had the option to hand the shot back if he didn't like what he saw.
Yeah, but he saw a good safety opportunity, and he took advantage of it. And besides that, I mean, the 2 ball wasn't easy to get on from the 1, and that's why he played the safety. But if he gets a chance to get ball in hand here, and can play the 1 and get good position on the 2, there might be a 3-9 combination set up for him. It's not an easy one, because it's almost a good 1 foot distance, but it looks quite comfortable once you get in a good line.
There you see Feijen, 37 years old, from The Hague, and currently lives in Denmark with his wife Kat and their young daughter. Kat being from Denmark, and I'd like to give a shout out to all of them watching on our live stream. Who do you think's more nervous, the family or the player?
Usually it's the family. But obviously, you should also be nervous as a player, but usually watching is way more nerve-wracking than playing yourself.
That was a good hit?
No, it wasn't. It was a foul.
Oh, that was a foul. Okay. So a big chance here with ball in hand now for Ouschan to move up by 2.
That's still not easy, because he needs very good shape on a 2 ball here. And from here, I doubt that he's going for the combination. So I think he tries to run out properly. Watch the cue ball.
I was talking with Albin just after his match. He was sort of standing off to the side of the table. He'd been listening to some music, and that's what he likes to do to relax, and took off the headphones. And I said, "Are you nervous?" And he says, "You know, that I'm not. I just don't know. I mean, I'm just calm. Not really worried about much." I said, "Well, it sounds like you're in the zone. That's where you want to be."
It almost sounds like a perfect scenario here. Even though, you know, I don't think that he's not nervous at all, which would really surprise me. But maybe he's not. I mean, but a very delicate shot here. He has to cue over the 4-ball. Nice shot.
Well, yesterday, what a day for Albin Ouschan. On several occasions, he could have gone out of this tournament very easily. He came back in 3 of his matches yesterday from behind, and 8-4 down to Roman Hibbler in the round of 16. And then he was 10-7 down to Antonio Gabica of the Philippines in the quarterfinals and looked to be dead in the water. And it just one mistake from Gabica, and Albin just stayed in there. He hung in there and bided his time, and he got over the finish line by a nose. And you were telling me earlier, Ralph, that's often what it is in pool. It's you know, if the stars line up for you that day, you get a couple of breaks, you can find yourself in a final.
Exactly. When you can escape those critical moments where you're, you know, almost on the wrong side, then if you can escape them and you manage to go through, then things could go your way all the way. And I've seen it so many times. I actually, you know, I've been there myself several times. It's very, very rare where a player just dominates every match from the first to the last round. Very seldom. I actually had that in the World Championships 2006 in Manila, but then nothing went for me in the finals against Ronnie Alcano, and I lost the final 17-11.
So a great start here for the young Austrian. So he takes advantage of an illegal break, and then he plays a nice safety, and he forces a foul on Niels Feijen, and that's how you do it in pool. Sometimes the best offense is a good defense. Oftentimes it's like that, and Albin Ouschan moves up by 2 in this race to 13 final at the 2014 World 9-Ball Championship in sunny and very hot Doha, Qatar. So he's coming up to break now, Ralph. This is a big opportunity to put a little distance in between him and Niels.
Well, if he can hold his serve, then he's going to be tough to beat. But again, you know, it's a long race to 13. I mean, I've seen matches turning around easily, even with 4, 5, 6 games lead, and it's a long time not over.
Albin inspecting the rack there and trying to make sure the balls are as tightly packed together as they can possibly be. He's been doing well on the break shot. Two balls down. Will he have a shot on the 2 ball, which is the next object ball? You see the 1 on the side and the green 6 flying into the corner.
But no open shot for the 2. He could bank this ball, but I wouldn't take the chance, really. I think he better off play safe. But the safety is not easy either, so maybe he goes for the bank shot.
And there you see on your right, the red 3. That'll be the next ball.
I think that was a two-way shot. He was trying for the bank, but also playing with the right speed to play a safety, and he actually hit it pretty good. I think he wanted to hold the cue ball maybe a little more behind the 3, and not giving a possible chance to see the 2 ball, but I think the 9 is still blocking a clean path, so good safety from Niels here. Very good.
Nice answer.
Good. Perfect speed. Brought the cue ball all the way back. Very close to the rail, which makes it tough to play. And he brought it right behind the 9 ball. So Albin has to kick at the ball, hit the rail first, and I don't know what he has in mind. If he hits it on the left side, coming from the end rail, now we can. If he hits it on the left side here and brings it in between the 7 and the 5 ball, and then the cue ball goes maybe behind the 3, but it's a very delicate and not an easy shot. You need a good speed control.
He's going to leave that open for Niels.
Hit it a little too full. Yep.
So Niels needs to get one back here, trailing 2-0 early on here. It's a race to 13, alternate break. And the lag was won by Albin Ouschan. So he gets off to a good start here. Niels been at this game professionally for better part of 15 years. He's logged in not quite as many miles as you, Ralph, but quite a few. It's been what a journey for Niels, and you know, there were some whispers maybe a few years ago. Well, Niels is a great player, but he hasn't won the big one, and he's really doubled down on his training in the last 2 years with his coach, Alex Lely, and Niels always had the power game and the offense, but he realized he didn't have the tactical game, and that's what he's been working on the last 2 years, and boy, has that started to pay dividends, and this is the result of all that hard work.
But he's also one of the best shot makers. You know, I mean, he's a player that comes with the shot when he needs to. And yeah, he's just playing great the last at least 2 years. You know, he's the defending European 9-ball champion. He won that title now 2 years in a row. He's the reigning World Masters champion.
MVP in the Mosconi Cup.
MVP in the Mosconi Cup for a second time. He finished runner-up at the World Cup of Pool with his partner Nick Vandenberg. Lost the heartbeat final against the Filipino team not too long ago. I mean, he's been knocking at the door several times, and he actually won a lot of events already. So I think he has proven, especially in the last couple of years, that he can win, not only finish high, you know. And he won the World Straight Ball several years ago as well. So
certainly this would take his career to another level should he come out victorious today. So this will be his first point on the board here in this race to 13 final. Just barely. Okay, I shouldn't pencil it in before it goes down. We are in a final of a world championship. Okay, but Niels Feijen on the board finally. Look at that. Look how close that was.
And already the 8-ball was a little, hit that a little too full already. So that's why he came short for an ideal angle on the 9-ball. And
so how tough are these where Rocket Table's been playing this week? I've heard a lot of compliments from all the players. Haven't heard one complaint about the tables and how they played.
I really like them. I mean, there's absolutely nothing bad to say about the table. And the rails play nice. The pocket size is perfect in my opinion. So there's absolutely nothing to complain about.
So we're playing alternate break format. It seems to be the standard nowadays, the alternate break format. Some of the other events you do see winter breaks. What do you prefer, Ralph?
I actually prefer alternate break because nowadays the standard of play has, come to a level where you may not get to the table 5-6 games in a row. And who wants to see a match where you can only actually see one player playing? So yeah, I definitely prefer alternate break because it's more fair.
Well, we've seen numerous matches go to the very last ball here with whole careers riding on the line just for one turn of the ball. It's just the drama here has been incredible this week. You never know until that last ball drops in this sport. That's how good the talent is. You can come back and you think you're dead in the water, and Albin Ouschan's a case in point when he came back against Kubica yesterday from 10-7 down to win 11-10 and move into the semifinals. It's a terrific slow-mo, that break shot.
Yeah, he hit it well, but cue ball got kicked to the left side, and now he doesn't have an easy opening shot on the 1-ball. It looks like another safety here. Maybe exchange the balls, bring the 1-ball back where the cue ball is now and leave the cue ball behind the 3. Could be an option.
Just in the zone. And that's where he's got to stay. He's been like that for a few days, and that's what's really served him well to get here to the final. Can he get some cover?
That was also a good option here. I don't know if he was actually trying to make the bank shot as a two-way shot or if it was just a plain safety. But it turned out quite well, so. He's looking to kick at the ball. Yeah, hit about one diamond below the side pocket and should bring the cue ball right into the 1. Maybe hit the rail first, the second short rail, and actually make the 1 and get maybe position on the 2 as well if you hit at the right speed.
But you must hit it.
Yep. I think he just misjudged it.
So a foul, and that'll be ball in hand for the Terminator. So Ralph, you see an easy out here with ball in hand?
Well, as I said, it's never really easy, but it looks very doable. The main problem here is to get a good shape from the 4 to the 5 ball, because the 5 is close to the bottom rail here, and the 4 ball close to the head string, and that's the main key here.
All right, so we'll look out for that. From the pink 4 to the orange 5 ball. Let's see how he plays position. There you see him lining up that very shot you were talking about, Ralph, on that pink 4.
So you want to have a perfect angle to maybe get straight over in between the 7 and the 5 to play the 5 to the corner pocket that is closer to the 5. And you don't want to shoot it along the rail and in the opposite corner, because that might be always a little tricky. I think he has a little more angle than he wanted to.
Yeah, I think the fabled KISS principle is what you want to stick to in pool, isn't it? Keep it simple, stupid. Just keep it simple. Short shots. High percentage shots. Easier said than done, of course.
Yeah, he didn't want to hit the 5 ball, but with the angle he had, he almost had no other option.
FYI, we have no shot clock here in this final. Organizers had the option. Oh, no. Well, that is a massive blunder from the Dutchman.
Well, it wasn't easy because, as I mentioned, you know, he didn't want to hit the 5 to begin with, and he actually hit it in a way that it was still okay for him, but he wanted to make sure to get past the side pocket, and that's why he hit it a little thicker, and by doing so he just missed the ball. And these pockets are tighter than on most other tournaments. Which means you have to play more precise, and you can't cheat a pocket that much. Especially now that we have played here now for 10, or this is day 11. Which means the cloth is worn in already and doesn't slide as much as it did when it was still new.
Well, what a chance here for Ouschan to put some heat on Feijen. Because Niels was looking at a relatively elementary run out there and to tie things up, but now he finds himself down 3-1, and it being the odd number game number 5, this will be the break of Albin Ouschan. So a really good chance to put some distance early in this match between himself and Niels.
Yeah, those are key games that could make the big difference at the end.
Well, let's note that down in our scorebook here. Rack number 4, the miss on the cut. And we'll see that coming up. And boy, what a missed opportunity for Niels as he had ball in hand in this rack. You'll see it coming up on this fob here. This shot right here.
The problem was actually the position. From the 3 to the 4 was not ideal, and he didn't want to shoot the 5 ball in the opposite corner with the far distance, and because you always try to get go for the short path, and by trying so he clipped the 5 ball, and but didn't leave him a perfect angle.
Boy, these pictures coming to us courtesy of AUT. These pictures coming to us courtesy of AUT and Kazoom here are just out of this world. This is pool as perhaps you've never seen it. That's really what makes the game, Ralph, at this when you this high definition and all these close-ups and slow-mos. It really allows the fans the chance to feel like they're participating.
And here we see the first break with no ball in, which is quite seldom the case in this tournament.
Dry break.
I thought he hit it square. The cue ball went, you know, almost straight back, and
I think a lot of fans want to know, maybe if they're not used to this magic rack, the little template you see there where they rack the balls, how much does it affect the roll of the ball?
well, obviously the friction is different because the balls are sitting on a little piece of plastic, so to speak, and the friction obviously is different than on a normal cloth surface. And you know, sometimes when the balls are not 100% frozen, which happens, you know, if the referee is not, you know, checking 100%, and sometimes even the balls, they have a different diameter. They're no longer the same. Yeah, they're not the same size anymore.
Yeah,
because sometimes they're worn out a little bit, not after a week tournament, but you know, when you play in a pool hall and you have a ball set that is like a year or 1.5 years old, then you'll see differences from up to 2 to 3 millimeters. And then even with the magic rack, you can't rack them tight anymore. It's just impossible.
so Niels now with a shot on this blue 2.
I think he got away with it.
Well, he had a few errors in his match with Haya in the semifinal match, and we've seen a few already here. But I get the feeling, though, that there's going to be quite a few twists and turns on the way to the finish line in this match.
Yeah. Which is normal. I mean, it's, as I said before already, you very seldom see a match where both players like play flawless and don't make a mistake at all, especially when we talking about a World Championship finals. Now this is a pretty standard run out here. Throw the 5 ball a little back, play the 6 in the side, 7 in the corner, get down to the upper side and have a little angle on the 8 in the corner, and then you should have a straight in 9 ball.
Pretty elementary from here, but we're not going to pencil it in yet.
No, of course not. Especially he's like almost straight now, so he can't do much with the cue ball, which is going to stay basically on the rail, which makes the 9 ball a lot tougher. He wanted a little more angle here actually.
So after the dry break from Albin Ouschan, Niels Feijen gets one back, clears the table. The score now 3-2 in favor of Albin Ouschan. It's a race to 13 winner, and rather alternate breaks, and the winner will be crowned the 2014 World 9-Ball Champion. This is the most prestigious and most sought-after prize in the sport of professional pool. Well, he's only down 3-2, but I sense he's clearly not 100% happy with how he's playing. He's got some small errors creeping into his game, but still in the match, obviously. And
yeah, well, as long as you're, still in the match, there's nothing to complain about. And as long as he can hold his own serve, then he will stay in reach. This match might go all the way, like maybe 13-10 max.
How about yesterday? Albin, with 3 race to 11 matches, Albin played for 12 straight hours. That's tough.
That's tough, yeah. And it, also takes a lot of energy out of you for the next day. But when you want to win a championship, that's what you have to go through. That's part of it.
So you see a ball down, but no open shot on the yellow one.
Well, he might be able to see the edge, and when he sees it, he can actually make it. It's kind of hard to see from this angle here. Maybe you get a different camera angle. Maybe you can hit actually the rail first too, and so I think there's a pretty good chance to make the one, but the question is, can he get position on 2 afterwards? Because if he has to hit the rail first, he's going to bump the 2 out as well, or maybe even play the 1 off the 2, but I don't think that this is possible. That's a little tricky, but I think he's gonna go for it and try, because I don't really see a good push out option here either. If he can reach the cue ball to begin with, he has to stretch. But he's taller than me, so for him might be easier. For me, I have to be all the way on my toes, and maybe have to get the extension out. And
you would take the extension for a shot like this?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, he got it. Terrific play from Niels Feijen.
Yeah,
that deserves
perfect.
a round of applause there. That was nice because he maintained position for the next shot, the blue 2.
Yeah, here again, most important position will be from the 3 to the 4.
See the pink 4 at the bottom of your screen there, sitting along the rail.
He wanted the angle on the other side. Now he has to probably use the long rail and get in between the 8 and the 5 in order to get to the 4. If he would have been on the other side, he could have come behind the 8. Well executed. I think somebody's phone going off and with text messages or whatnot.
Or it could have been a flash. I warned him beforehand. I said, hey, check your phones.
Yeah, well.
Most people have no idea how to use all these high-tech gadgets and supersonic gadgets that they have. They think the flash is turned off and there's a little orange beam that...
That's even worse than a flash, yeah.
That's where you've had that disrupt your shooting at times?
Several times, yeah. Not here, because here the crowd is actually, way more elevated than in other arenas, but...
Well, Ralph, you're that popular. I mean, you have to chalk it up to being, everybody wants your picture.
Well, they can have it after the match, or not necessarily while I'm aiming. on a difficult or on any shot, you know, and don't want to be distracted, but when you are really in a zone and when you're focused, you don't even realize it. But when your concentration is off, then those things can actually get to you and, you know, put you off.
Well, Niels has a nice, fine shooting rhythm at this point.
Perfect speed. And a straight in 9-ball to tie the game at 3 games apiece.
All even here at the Al Saad Sports Club in Doha, Qatar. 2014 World 9-Ball Championship. This is the 5th year that the Qatar Billiards and Snooker Federation has hosted and organized the World 9-Ball Championship, and it's gone from an event that they first had in their federation when Francisco Bustamante won it, and boy, has it grown since then, and we just cannot say enough good things about the folks at the QBSF. They have really listened, opened up their minds, and tried to improve year and year in and year out, I'd like to say. And this year has just been phenomenal organization. Look at the set we have here, the lighting and the TV and the live stream. Excellent job from them.
Yeah, they definitely improved every single year. It's getting better and better.
Ted Lerner, along with the Hall of Famer, Ralph Souquet. Ralph, you've won just about every tournament there is to win out there.
Almost, yeah.
Any tournament in particular, any title that you haven't won that you really feel would fill out the resume?
Well, if the World 10-Ball was still on, then obviously I would like to win that.
But you won the 8-Ball.
I won the 8-Ball, I won the 9-Ball. I never won the World Straight Ball, but I won the US Open Straight Ball, therefore, so that's, yeah. I won the World Games gold medal, which in my opinion is like the biggest you can win, because it's only been held every 4 years, like the Olympics. And, even though the field is very small with only 16 participants, but it was just a great feeling to win the gold medal in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, and walk into the stadium afterwards with the gold medal in front of 40,000 people.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing, yeah.
How do you put a price tag on that?
Yeah, it's priceless, yeah.
So Albin with the ball down on the break.
But no shot on the 2-ball. You might be able to clip the 2 very thin and bring the cue ball down, but it's not that easy, because if you hit it a little too hard, you might just leave it in front of the bottom right corner, and Niels could have a chance to actually see the ball and maybe even make it. Yeah, I don't know. This is tricky. If you hit it a little too full and try to come 3 rails behind the 5-ball there, but then the 2 will be too fast and probably gonna come out and maybe even break up the cluster 6-9, because right now it looks like there's no there's only like 2 pockets for the 6 ball, which is the left corner pocket and the bottom left corner and the left side pocket. But hard to get there from the 5 ball.
Can he get there? No.
I think that was the wrong choice. He hit it the correct way, but way too soft. If he would have hit it harder, then the 2 ball would have gone to the side rail and maybe behind the 6 and 9, and at the same time the cue ball would have hit the long rail and hopefully behind the 5. So he misjudged it by quite a lot. But maybe he didn't want to play it that hard. Maybe he just wanted to bring the 9 ball and the 6 ball in between the 2 ball and the cue ball.
So from this blue 2, he's got to go back up for the 5. That'll be the next ball. And then, as you said, the important shot, and this is what he's obviously looking at here, where does he want to leave the shot for the 5 to get to the 6?
Yeah, he was looking at the carom shot, maybe carom the 9 off the 6. I don't know if it's on or not. It's hard to say from here. This is even tough with ball in hand, so. But it's also very hard to get from the 5 to the 6 because the 8 ball is in the path. Oh wow, very nice.
That. That deserved a big round of applause.
Yeah, you hit that perfect. Good speed.
You know what's great listening to you, Ralph, is that I mean, you really get an insight into guys at your level, just the calculations that you guys have to make. In just a matter of a few seconds. It's just amazing how you can figure it all out. Where to take the ball, where it's going to end up, where 3 shots ahead, 4 shots ahead.
Well, we did it I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of times, so. But still, sometimes you don't see the path, or sometimes you just don't see the shots. You look at the table and you say, come on, what can I do here? Well, looks like this could be the first lead in the match for Niels.
Yes, indeed. It's a funny game sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times. I mean, Albin had the momentum. He was up 3-1 with the break. He breaks dry, and that's something we've hardly seen at all this week.
Yeah.
And now here comes Niels.
Oh. Exactly on the 50-yard line where he doesn't want to be at. A little further and it's easy in the side, a little less and it's easy in the corner. It's still makeable, but that's exactly the angle you don't want to look at. Never ever.
Right in the pocket and right on the 9 ball. Nothing's come easy for Niels Feijen, but he has taken his first lead of this finals. 4-3, race to 13, and with a good chance to get a 2-rack lead as Niels is breaking in rack number 8. This was the shot right here that opened up everything for Niels.
And it was tough, as we could see in the review, that he overcut the 2-ball, or actually he had to overcut in order to get into the 9-ball. Otherwise, if he would have hit it straight in the corner pocket, the Cuba would have missed the 9-ball, and he wouldn't been able to play the 6-ball.
So a terrific insight into all the permutations that players have to consider before executing the shot. There you see, I'll tell you, look, see those seats up on the left?
Mm-hmm.
I sat and watched up there yesterday. I watched the quarterfinals. That has to be the best seats in all of pool. That, and when the Mosconi is at your call up in the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's very similar to that. Although the atmosphere here is a little more staid than at the Mosconi. Okay, your call.
Oh yeah, well, the Mosconi Cup is a little different, you know.
Just a little.
Get the British fans, you know, yelling and cheering, singing football songs. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different. But there's not less pressure here, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So a shot on the 1 now for Niels off that break.
Nice shot. I think he finally found his rhythm.
Well, I was just thinking the same thing. It hasn't been easy for him, and he's really had to work hard. But, hey, that's the story of Niels Feijen's career. Work hard.
Yeah, grind it out. He's a grinder. I mean, he never gives up, no matter what, and that's exactly what brings you far. If you hang in no matter what happens, and take defeats, take tough losses, and go from there and build up stamina and come even back stronger next time.
Well, you might beat Niels Feijen on occasion, but you're not going to outwork Niels Feijen, that's for sure. If he finds something's missing in his game, he's going to go to the practice table and work on it for months and months and months. That's what he's done with this tactical aspect of his game, something he admitted he never had.
Mm-hmm.
He always started out in pool as an offensive player. But he said yesterday that the addition of the tactical side of the game into his arsenal has really helped him, because he's winning racks that before he might have lost.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not all offensive. You have to come with good ideas to play safety, and when you're hooked, then you have to find a good way of getting out there and hit 2 or 3 rails and hit the ball, and maybe even play a resave. One of Efren Rey's biggest weapons in his arsenal. Niels is close to win the 4th rack in a row here, coming from a 1-3 deficit to a 5-3 lead.
There it is, 4 in a row, and we can safely say that Mr. Momentum is definitely on the side of Niels Feijen from The Hague, Netherlands, now residing in Denmark. He leads 5-3 in this World Championship final. You were talking earlier about the World Games. A lot of people may not know the sport of pool is actually under the Olympic umbrella.
It is, yep. It's just not an Olympic discipline yet. Maybe it will never be, but who knows? You know, we're knocking on the door.
And that's one of the reasons why guys like Niels are able to compete and train, because in Holland, the Netherlands, the Dutch government, the Dutch Olympic Committee, recognizes pool and funds pool. And so the Dutch players are able to train and get a salary and concentrate on their craft, whereas other players in other countries where there is no support are left all to their own.
Yeah.
How about in Germany? Is there any support? I know you said when in the military, when you were in the German military as a young man, you used to play pool a lot. That's the kind of military I like, Ralph.
Yeah, well,
they just play pool.
It is recognized, but we don't get any. Well, we do get some money from the government, obviously. The federation does, but not for winning European championships or stuff like that. You know, the only money that Germany got was when I won the gold medal. Then the federation got money, but we as players, we only have got a really small portion of that. And it's nothing like in Holland. I don't know, they almost get 30,000 dollars if you have the A status every year.
Per player.
Per player, plus certain money for travels and all that, you know. So it's
wow.
Yeah, it's like a huge sponsor, you can say. Open one ball, a little tricky because he has the cue off the rail. Watch out, cue ball. Not happy, but I think he should be, because it could have been worse. The 2 is on, but not easy to get good shape on a 3. I think he has to run maybe into the 4 with the cue ball a little bit and try to get a little straighter on the 3, but not that straight. Oh no, it was. I thought he had to run into the 4. Nice slow-mo here. It's a little tricky here. First of all, it's hard to reach. You might just slow roll it and leave the cue ball there and deal with a little longer 6 ball. Now he needs to execute a nice 6 ball in order to bring the cue ball in the middle of the table. And be more or less sitting in a chair for 4 games. And it becomes a very tough shot. But well struck, even though he ended up a little short.
Seen Albin lose his temper on occasion this week, but he's managed to not get too out of control, losing his temper. He's always managed to pull back and stay relatively calm. Tends to get down on himself a bit.
Yeah. He's, I don't know how to describe it perfectly, but...
just his style?
Yeah, he just gets mad about himself when things are not going his way, and even though when the position is like still 80% fine, he's like not happy with it, you know. he wants it 100%, which is understandable. But you know, you can drag yourself down by doing so. So it's not ideal actually to do that. But as long as it works for him, that's fine.
Well, it's certainly working this week here in Doha. He's got this 9 to get it to 5-4. Ouschan answers back, stems the tide for the moment. And that makes the score.
Are we having a break? Oh, yeah.
5-4. Did the commentators get a break? Because the players get a break.
I guess we do.
I mean, the folks at home can just get up and go to the fridge and grab a cold one. We're getting cold water here.
Oh, it's better than nothing.
Well, yeah, the players did take a break. And I guess we'll take a break just for a few moments while the players refresh themselves, always after 9 wrecks. So go get yourself some refreshment, and we'll be back here in Doha, Qatar, at the World 9-Ball Championship shortly.
You do more in ball in this little time here than after that, so carry on. That's how I look at it. Yeah, if it's on, that's good.
Oh, he's not on. No, he's on. Okay, welcome back. We are at the Al Saad Sports Club in hot and sunny Doha, Qatar. Glad you could join us here watching the Kazoom live stream, and it's absolutely free. Does it get any better than that? Free. What's free in this world?
Not much, that's for sure.
Not much. What good is free? Yeah, so here we go. Niels Feijen leading 5-4 in this race to 13
and
final.
Another dry break. Not dry, he made a ball, but it's incorrect because only one ball crossed the head string. That happened already for the second time to him against one dry break from Albin where he didn't make a ball. And he hit it actually pretty good, solid, hard. But you have to have this rule, otherwise you see the soft break-in where hardly any ball crosses the middle line, you know, and that's why this is a good rule. And actually now the chance for Albin to tie it at 5 again and get back to 0 where it all started, more or less. It's amazing. You know, Niels won 4 of the last 5 games, and everything was going fine. Then they had the timeout after 9 games, which comes automatically. And then the first thing that happens when you come back, you have a incorrect break, even though you hit it very well and very hard. But this is how things can change.
Well, the pool balls, they have minds of their own. I've seen it, and
looks like sometimes.
And the pool gods can be quite fickle. If you make a mistake, the pool gods can punish you big time in future racks. Does it make logical sense? No, but it happens
all the time.
Yeah, the momentum can turn on a head of a pin in this sport. And that's why those of us who follow it closely enjoy watching it so much. And what a great rack here for Albin Ouschan. Fortunate on the illegal break from Niels Feijen. So not a break and run, but a run out from the Austrian. We are tied at 5 apiece. Okay, we're tied at 5, Ralph. It's essentially a race to 8. How do you assess the quality of the match up to this point?
It's a pretty good match. I mean, we haven't seen too many mistakes. We have seen 1 dry break, 2 illegal breaks, and yeah, missed shot by Niels on a 5 ball. And yeah, other than that, good quality match. And yeah, I mean, we can't really ask for much more, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think that one player is really going to run away with this.
No, and I didn't really expect it, to be honest. I really expected a close match. As I said, I mean, most likely, I don't see a bigger gap than 3 games at the end. So 13-10, 13-11, no matter who is going to win it. And, you know, I don't think that somebody's going to collapse and finally can't make a ball no more, which did happen in the past.
Yes. We have seen that on numerous occasions. So now the break for Albin Ouschan from Austria. Wing ball down. 1 ball moving towards the head string as usual.
He didn't hit the 1 ball straight. He hit it way far to the right side, and that's why the cue ball ended up on the end rail, and the 1 ball on the bottom rail. So at least, you know, he has a chance to do something. He can play a safety or a push or whatever. It's better than giving back the table to your opponent. And but there are not really too many options here, because you have 3 balls on the left side of the table, the other 5 on the right side, and actually also close to the rail, so you don't have much room to hide the cue ball here.
There is no 30 or 40 second shot clock at all. The referee has the option to institute a shot clock after 9 racks or 1 hour of play, but we have not seen that this week. I believe next year, though, they will be doing that. Some of the matches did go quite long, you know, with everything riding on the line here in Qatar. You know, 1 turn of the ball can change your entire career. You could be close to being out 1 second, and next thing you know, you catch a gear and you're on your way to immortality in pool. And so guys are taking 3-4 minutes to shoot a shot.
So we saw a push out from Albin here, where he tied up the 2 and the 4 ball, because he he didn't see a good option to play a good safety here, and that's why, I mean, it's still not easy to play a safety here, but at least two balls are tied up, so it's not a run out table anymore.
All right, well, now we will see the how Niels handles the tactical side of the game, as he is
I think he's going to give it back to Albin. I would give it back personally, but maybe he has something else in mind. The thing is that the 9-ball is close to the upper side pocket, so there might be a combination possibility at one point if you try to play a safety and leave the 1-ball open for it, but other than that, that's going to be a little tactical battle here in this rack.
See what he comes up with. Well, he's left it on, but it's long.
Yeah, but even if he makes it, there's no shot on the 2-ball. It's not even a good opportunity to come all the way back where the cue ball is right now to maybe play a safety on the 2. So maybe you should just try to bring the cue ball behind the 8 and play a safety here. Said and done. Nice shot.
So at what point will somebody's got to have to go after that 2-ball?
Well, I think Niels now is going to jump the 1-ball, tries to make it. By doing so, the cue ball is going to come all the way down, depending on how he hits it. Maybe if he hits it perfect, he can even draw the cue ball off the 1 straight in towards the 9 and the 2-4 cluster there. Niels is a very good jumper, so I fancy him to make the 1-ball here.
Beautiful shot, and he did attempt to go after that cluster.
Well, he could, I think, you know, he tries to get the cue ball behind the 3. I don't know if he can keep the 2-ball there where it is right now, because, you know, in order to bring the cue ball behind the 3, he needs to hit it a little fuller, which makes it a little tougher. But if he hits it just thin, then the cue ball won't go behind the 3. So it's not an easy safety here.
And it's that side of the game that we've told you about that Niels has really concentrated on in the last 2 years, working with his coach Alex Lely. Says they have all kinds of safety drills and that they work on hour after hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect. Good speed. Can't ask for more. Now Albin has to come with a good shot here. Maybe hit short rail first, then the long rail. Try to kick the 2 a little out and maybe can stop the cue ball behind the 6-9 or even roll into the 6 and have it stop there. Oh, okay, that's the other way. Quite nice too.
Looks like those two balls might be touching. 2 and the 6. No, a little gap there.
Just looking for a good resave here, but it's not easy. Maybe we can hit long rail, then the short rail, cut the 2 on the left side, so that the cue ball is gonna go on the other side, and the 2 ball off the 6 hit the long rail and come back behind the 9. That's what he's looking at.
Wow. Anything can happen here. He's got to be really precise because he's got to kick it a fair distance.
And you got to hit it on the right side. If you hit it too full, then
the correct
both balls,
side, you mean?
Yeah. But first of all, you have to hit it at all, which is not so easy. That was the incorrect side, because now first of all, it looks like straight in to the side, and if he doesn't like it, he could still play a safety, but he's definitely gonna go for it. Even though position from the 3 to the 4 could be a little tricky. Not sure if you can avoid hitting the 9 here, because if the cue ball runs into the 9, he really has to hit it hard in order to get through the ball.
Still some work left.
Yep.
They are fighting over every ball, as can be expected here. Everything riding on the line. And I mean everything.
Maybe send the 3 ball towards the 5 and the 8, bring the cue ball back. Yep. Did he get behind the 6 or the 9? According to Albin's reaction, no, he didn't get there. As mentioned at the beginning of the game, it's going to be a tactical battle.
That's right. And no shot clock here.
Yeah, I haven't seen one match put on a shot clock.
No, not this entire
Might have
tournament.
been, but I'm not aware of it. Sometimes actually a shot clock is better for the game and for both players, because when you have too much time to think about stuff, then you know, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. And the shot clock can actually help to make a quick decision, and it's not always the right one, but I would say 90-95% of the time you make a right decision. Because you are forced to make a decision.
Certainly, I've Seen pros, you know, for many years seem to play better when there's a shot clock.
Yep. I wonder if Niels can thin cut the 3 and leave it there, and maybe bring the cue ball. Oh, he was playing the carom shot. Okay.
But no clear shot on the 3 now.
Actually, well executed, but yeah, he took the risk of maybe not getting a good shot on the 3 afterwards, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, you can see there by that reaction, not happy with himself. He's going to have to find some cover now.
Looks like he could go right in between the 6 and the 3 ball, maybe hit the rail first, kick the 3 ball out and leave the cue ball right behind the 9. I don't know if he sees enough, if the gap is big enough or not. But it looks like when I'm looking here on from top of the screen, oh, he actually did see the edge to actually make it. Wow.
Wow. It's very hard to see, even with an overhead camera, what the player sees exactly.
And according to his reaction before, I figured he doesn't see anything, or not enough to make it.
That was some shot. Now he's got a shot on this pink 4 ball. So things have opened up nicely here for Niels Feijen. After an extended safety exchange. Well, if he can get these 2 balls down, he's going to be feeling pretty good about things, Ralph. Just to get out of that one with a point.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when he made the first mistake and gave Albin a chance.
6-5 now. Feijen leading over Albin Ouschan. It's an all-European final here in Doha. The 2014 World 9-Ball Championship. The 5th running of the World 9-Ball Championship here in Qatar. The 23rd running of the World 9-Ball Championship. My colleague here, Ralph Souquet, winning it in 1995, and you were also in the 2001 World 9-Ball Championship final. You lost to Mika Immonen. What was the score on that one, Ralph?
17-10.
17-10, and you also came up short in the final against Ronnie O'Connor in 2006.
Yeah, and I actually won it in 96, not in 95.
Oh, 96, sorry.
95 was fellow German Oliver Ortmann, who won it in Taiwan.
So what did it feel like when that final 9 dropped and you realized you were the champion of the world?
Well, it was a great feeling. And I mean, you know, if you don't really realize it right away, it has to take a day or 2 before it actually sinks in and you realize what you've done.
And then over the coming months, everybody coming up to you at other tournaments and congratulating you. Just
Yeah, exactly.
must be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what you work for, what you dream of, you know, when you start that career. Obviously, when I started playing pool, I didn't even think about winning a world championship because I was 6 years old and I didn't even know that there were world championships back then.
Wait, you started at 6, but I saw you early in your career. You still had hair and you had a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe people should Google that. You know, young Ralph Souquet. It's great.
Well, I wasn't that young when I had the mustache and the curls, actually, but oh well. That means I'm so long already in the business. I mean, in a few months I'm playing for 40 years. It's
Wow.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes I have to pinch myself and to realize, you know, what I've done in all those years.
Well, it's certainly an honor to be sitting next to you, Ralph, at the final of the World 9-Ball Championship, and I hope our people watching and listening, wherever they may be around the world, can appreciate 40 years of knowledge from one of the greats of the game.
Well, looking at the table here, it has an opening shot on the 1. But there's not a clear path to get back to the other side for the 2. Well, I guess there is if he plays it with inside English. Oh, and he proved me wrong again here. Problem here is getting a shot on the 4. So he needs to play good position on the 3 ball now, which is not looking easy because 2 ball looks almost straight in, so you can't really do much with the cue ball here, and you don't want to cheat the pocket too much and have to hit it too hard because before you know it, you've missed it. So if you can maybe follow through and gets underneath the 3 ball to play it in the side pocket. Nicely done. Maybe a little too straight, or maybe perfect. Let's see. Follow through and get, yeah, exactly there where he's pointing at. He's actually looking calm and relaxed and
Yes.
very composed.
I was just thinking that, you know, he's clearly not, he's not thinking about the prize that awaits at the end. He's totally 100% focused on the task at hand. Well, whenever you see a player look up into the stands like that, that means they're not quite happy. Never sure what they're looking at, but you know he's not happy with that.
Yeah. Well, he obviously hit the 8 ball on his way back to the 6, and because of that he didn't get the cue ball far enough up the table to get a good shape on the 6 ball. Not even sure if you can actually still make the 6. Looking from the overhead camera, looks like a maybe 85-degree cut, and I don't know if you want to go with that or not. But sometimes, you know, when you're actually at the table, it is easier than it looks on camera. Looking at the picture here, I would say, whoa, this is really tough. But sometimes then you're at the table and say, oh, piece of cake. No, it is tough.
That is tough.
Yeah. And it goes for the bank shot.
Well, fairly disappointed that he had to give up the table there.
Yeah, I guess he didn't want to play a safety. He went for the offensive version here, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't.
This is what Ouschan's been doing all week, just hanging around, staying close, give yourself a chance.
And looking like he doesn't care at all.
And that's probably the thinking that he wants at this point. And that's kind of what he said to me before the match. So you just didn't really think it was a big deal. He was surprised that he was here. Said he couldn't believe that he was here, but it didn't really overawe him, the gravity of the circumstances.
Which is good in a way, because then you don't really put yourself under too much pressure. You just take it as it comes.
Yeah. And now, with that 9-ball, we are tied at 6 here in Doha. Race to 13. The first player to get to 13 will hoist the 9-ball trophy. The 9-ball World Championship 2014. We're going to be back here next year, and the year after, and the year after that. It's already a done deal. So if you want to see the best players in the world from over 50 countries, book your ticket to Doha and get over here. It's a lot of fun.
Race to 7 from here. It's great to see the slow motion pictures here. See the vibration on the cue, and when the cue actually hits the cue ball, how long it stays on the tip actually. And you can only see that with a high definition camera.
Well, Al-Khas is really providing us with superb pictures. And there you see the Al Saad Sports Club. This is actually just one multi-purpose hall. There you see our friends from the Qatar Billiards and Snooker Federation. On the right there, the president of the WPA, Ian Anderson.
Who seems to have a date looking on his watch.
Yeah, date with handing over the check.
Well, we saw a cut break here by Albin.
I was saying this is part of a much larger complex here.
Oh, this is huge.
This
here,
with a football stadium, and in which the football stadium is going to be, I believe, going to be one of the stadiums
for the 22 World Cup.
Yes, the 2022 World Cup. We're going to have to add about 30,000 seats onto it. But that shouldn't be a problem for these people here. Boy, they got construction cranes all over this place, and all over Doha. everywhere you look, just incredible projects going up into the sky. So we're tied at 6.
Nice speed here. Perfect angle on the 5. Just throw a few inches back and get straight on the 6 ball. Yeah, from here it's more or less elementary.
Nothing phases Albin. Just even if he sits in his chair for a while, just gets up and he's got the same demeanor, same stroke, everything.
Yep. He's only mad about himself very often, you know. He's never happy with his game, or very seldom, let's put it that way. Which is good in a way, because that's the only way to maybe get as close as possible to perfection.
Two in a row for Albin Ouschan. He now leads 7-6 over Niels Feijen in this race to 13 for the world title. That's what's been driving you for many years, Ralph, the pursuit of perfection, right?
Yep. That's me. It suits me. But in all stages in life, yeah, I always try to get as close as possible.
Have you ever walked off a tournament table and said, I just played perfect? Or is there always room for improvement?
I think there's always room for improvement. I cannot think of a perfect match. Close to, but I think I haven't played a perfect match yet.
Wow.
I mean, there's always something, you know. You can hit a break better where you don't hit it straight and the cue ball maybe flies to the left, to the right side, and or you know, you get a position wrong where you have to play a bank shot instead of an easier run out, and you know, stuff like that.
Here we go, rack number 14. Niels Feijen to break. Inching towards crunch time here in Doha. Ball down. Will the one stop in time? Looks like he has a shot from that angle.
Yeah, I would say so. Nice cue ball control. The 2 sits right in front of the side pocket. The only tricky part here is to hold the cue ball, because you have a little angle here, so it's not easy to just hold the cue ball there. You have to play it with a maybe a little draw, but also with a, I mean, you can't go all the way through, because then the cue ball gets way too fast and goes maybe towards the 3. Well, I guess he's gonna play it in the side, leave the cue ball on the right side of the table and shoot the 3 over the side pocket into the corner, because the 4 ball is basically hanging in front of the opposite side pocket from here, so there's not much to do about it.
The lead has changed hands twice. We've had 3 ties. The biggest lead was Ouschan, led 3-1. Niels won 4 straight to go up 5-3. Then it was tied at 5. Niels got back up again, and it was tied at 6. And now Ouschan has gone back up by 1.
And soon it's going to be tied at 7.
Neither player able to get any distance on the other. Very well matched here.
We'll just get back with the cue ball in the middle of the table for 8 ball on the side.
So this 9 to tie it at 7. Right in the heart of the pocket. Niels Feijen. A nice effort in rack number 14. So now we're down to a race to 6 for the World Championship. Not quite the crowd we had in the semifinals, of course, with all the overseas Filipinos here who always come out to support one of their own. Elmer D. Haya lost to Niels Feijen, 11-7. Both scores were 11-7. I was a little surprised at the result of the other match between Ouschan and Chung, because Chung was playing brilliant yesterday. I mean, he was a machine all day long, but he came out today. He had a few errors that he didn't have yesterday.
Yeah, he went for a couple of shots. I actually watched that match, and he made a couple of errors at the beginning where he didn't have a good opening on the first shot after the break, and yeah, I think he made 2 wrong decisions. He was trying shots that were not on and trying to create something, and it didn't go his way. And Albin just stuck to the plan and took advantage of all the mistakes that Chung Yulong made, and that was it. That made the difference.
So punish your opponent's mistakes. That was the lesson from both matches. So
was it a dry break? I think it was, yeah. Only 1 ball crossed the line. He only made 1 ball.
So we call that illegal break.
Yeah.
Nothing that's going to land you in jail or anything. It's kind of a weird word, illegal. You're busted.
Yeah, that's why I call it a dry break. Even though dry, you could understand as you didn't make a ball at all.
Balls, yeah.
But to make it clear for the viewers again, 3 balls have to touch or pass the head string that we see now on the left side, or every ball that drops in the pocket counts as
1 ball.
As 1 ball passing the line.
And of course, the idea behind that is to stop players from soft breaking, which is just dull and boring, and nobody wants to see that. So. But sometimes you break them hard and the balls just hit each other, and
or hit the edge of the side pocket and roll back to the
and you don't get
upper side of the table. Yeah,
a legal break, so it can happen.
It's gonna follow through, maybe 2 rails. Oh, not sure if he had to break that open or if he wanted to. I thought he was gonna miss both balls and just get shape for the 4.
Right between them.
Yeah. That's not a gimmick here. You either have to play it really soft, slow roll it to get back where the cue ball is right now for the 5, or you hit it really hard and go back and forth twice, which makes the shot a lot tougher. So then it's missable. Well, Niels went for this option, which he usually does because he likes to stroke the balls more. Me personally, I probably would have rolled it to give the ball a bigger opportunity to drop, even though if you don't hit it 100%. I mean, you can always cheat the pocket a little bit when you play it at a certain speed, the so-called pocket speed. But I know Niels and also players like Thorsten Hohmann, they prefer to play it harder and play it firm and use 2-3 rails instead.
Was that because they're more comfortable sort of letting the arm, letting the stroke out?
Of course, when you just slow roll it, it's easier to, you know, misjudge and maybe don't have a good stroke, but this is my personal style of play. I like to slow roll the balls, and
I mean, we saw Elmer Haya in the last match had this 9 ball in the side pocket. He could have just slow rolled it right in, but the adrenaline was pumping. He just nailed it, and he couldn't even. He missed it by a mile.
Well, but you know, I don't think he has played in or under these circumstances very often.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good player. He's been around. I've seen him in several World 8-ball championships, actually.
Yeah.
And but I think he never really made it that far. And you know, when you get to this point, you know, it actually helps if you have the experience, because then you can judge situations different than just come in as a newcomer or a less experienced player, and you might make just some crazy shot options.
Yeah, his arm was literally shaking.
Which is understandable. I mean, you know, talking semifinals of the World Championship, it's not like a house tournament in Abu Dhabi or so.
Okay, Niels moves back up.
Yeah, this is a dogfight all the way.
It really is.
All the way to the end.
So we were tied at 6. And then Ouschan went ahead 7-6. Now Niels has won 2 in a row. So slowly but surely the tension builds here at the Al Sadd Sports Club in Doha. Is a race to 13. You don't have to win by 2. Just whoever gets to 13 first will win the World 9-ball Championship. Look at these great high-definition close-ups.
Nice picture for the sponsor Loonteens in Holland.
Yeah. And besides this live stream on Kazoom, which obviously being seen around the world, this is also being seen on the Al-Qas Sports Network, which is a big sports network here in the Middle East, seen all over Middle East, Africa. They've got 3-4 channels, and also have a presence online, and they've got the huge truck outside, and they've done a really nice job with these pictures. And it's just really great for the sport of pool. This is certainly one of the growth areas for pool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Worldwide, the Middle East, and I mean, even in places like, you think, Saudi Arabia. They have players here from Saudi Arabia, and you know, one of the guys who played in the qualifying stage was telling me, he goes, we have got some great young talent in Saudi Arabia. I mean, who knows, a few years from now, you might see a player from the Middle East, like a Kuwait or even Qatar, like a Waleed.
Well, Waleed, he made it to the top 16.
Yeah.
He beat Levan Corteza and Darren Appleton back to back.
And that's no fluke.
No, absolutely not.
So, one of these years, we're going to see a player from the Middle East go to the semifinals.
Or further.
Or further. That would be something.
Yeah, Niels checking the rack here and not happy with the racking from the referee, and because it can make the big difference now. You know, another dry break and you let Albin back in, and but if you can hold his serve, then he's gonna cross the finish line before Albin. So he wants to make sure now that he doesn't have to deal with another dry break or illegal break.
3 ball down. Looks like the 1 is covered by the 2.
And there's a cluster with the 5 and the 6 ball in the middle of the table. Well, there's a possible kick shot here, where he can hit the rail first, kicks the 1 to the other side of the table and leaves the cue ball right behind the 2.
Scratch come into play?
Normally I would say no, unless he would hit it with so much forward spin and hit it hard, then yes, but you don't play the shot that hard, so I don't see a scratch here at all. Nicely struck. And he broke up the cluster. Perfect.
So Albin Ouschan has to contend with this.
Yeah, that's a good question here. There's not really much.
What does the great Ralph Chiquet do? Come on.
Ask
Figure
Efren.
it out. Ask Efren.
What would Efren do? Yeah, I don't.
Efren's not going to jump it. That's for sure.
I've seen him jumping lately.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Efren. Never saw him jump. And I live in Efren's hometown.
I know, yeah. I just don't see. I mean, the only thing I can see here is that he tries to make the 1, cuts it in the corner down right here, but that's a toughie.
Well, he's got
if he hits it a little too thick, he might bang it towards the 2 ball and maybe makes it there, but let's see. I mean, anything can happen from here. You know, cue ball control is like not existing here. Yep.
Well,
nice shot. Oh, is there a window? Oh, he's not happy. He might have a little window to actually see the 1. And if he does see it, then he might be able to run out.
Wow, that's amazing. With all those balls there, well, no, his reaction is that there is not a window.
We will find out in a few moments. I think he can see it, but can he avoid hitting the 2 and get shape once he made it? But I think he can.
Oh, nice. Nicely done. That worked out well.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, Albin's got to be kicking himself now. There was a wall of balls there, and it just one turn of the ball, and it opened up that window, as you said.
And those are the small little things I mentioned earlier that can make a big difference.
That's the cruelty of 9-ball. If you're on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like he's going to get away with the jump shot, and then just a slight turn of the ball, and here's Niels off to the races.
Mm-hmm. But that's also the beauty of the game.
Yeah, that's why fans who follow 9-ball like to watch it, because it can be cruel, and it can be exciting like that, and whole careers can hang on 1 millimeter of a turn of a ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I think players knowing that when you get in these like tight situations in these kind of matches and world championships, it's I just wonder sometimes how you guys even can hold the cue. The pressure and the drama is just so thick.
Well,
and that's when you go back, Ralph, always, and I guess in a lot of sports it's like you always go back to your fundamentals.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? The foundations, what you learned way back when.
Just try to remember what you've done so many times before, and just, just let it out again, and then stick to the plan.
In pressure situations, have you ever gotten to a point where you couldn't think?
Oh yeah.
Where you just, I don't really know what I'm doing right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Especially when you play with a shot clock, and I actually like playing with a shot clock, but there were situations where you already had your extension, and all of a sudden now here comes the tricky situation where you don't know, am I going left way, right way, am I play safe, or go the offensive way, and all of a sudden you run out of time, and then the referee calls time, and here you are with maybe 5 or 10 seconds, and you have to make a quick decision then, and
so you just get down
and you may look silly then. Yeah, it has happened several times. It doesn't happen very often, but it has happened, and I'm quite sure that all the players have been in similar situations where they didn't know exactly what to do.
You just made a lot of amateurs out there feel real good about their game.
Well, that's reality. No need to lie about things.
Even Ralph Souquet doesn't know what he's doing sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not often.
Well, if it would happen too often, then I don't think you can be successful.
How about this rack played by Niels?
Yeah, nothing to complain about. As I said, he stays very composed, and he looks ready to pick up the trophy and the title.
Well, he's had 15 years in the pro ranks to get ready for this point. And as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, there was, there's always naysayers in every sport. But Niels has been around long enough, and he's been so good. But I mean, I think it's only natural that people wondered, will he win the big one? And also, Niels even said that he was going to step away from the game just a bit, not meaning that he's going to go away from the game and not play, but he's discovered the joys of family life, and he wants to spend more time with his family, so he's not playing in every tournament. He's just picking and choosing the big ones. And I think actually that it served him well to have the family life and to find other pleasures outside the pool table. And that combined with him dedicating himself to the learning new tools like the safety play, he is so ready to win this world title.
Yeah, I totally agree. And especially the last 2 years have proven that he's ready for it, or that he's on his way, winning back-to-back European 9-ball titles, winning the World Pool Masters, finishing second in the World Cup of Pool. So I mean, you know,
And Mosconi Cup
and
winning
Mosconi
team
Cup winning
with you.
MVP and all that. I mean, and I think winning twice when he won the MVP, also the deciding game to bring it home for us.
There you see that issue right there. The 1 married up against the 4. Not sure if it's exactly touching, but Alvin's got to get one here. He doesn't want to go down by 3. When it goes for the bank, and that will be left on.
Those are the shots that could turn the game into your favor, or you completely lose it.
You got to give him credit for trying that one.
Yeah, but it's also a little frustration, you know, that things are not going the way he wants them going for him. And instead of maybe playing a safety and trying to get back into the game with on a defense base, he tries to just overpower things with an offensive plan. And as I said, it could turn out good, but it can also go backwards. And here he got away with it because he didn't leave an open shot for Niels, but there's an opportunity for him to maybe play a safety. Or maybe a two-way shot. I don't know. I would probably play the safety here, but maybe Niels is gonna try to bank the 1.
Oh, just barely. Did he get safe?
And it's basically the same thing what I said before. Those little things could make a big difference at the end. But I guess he didn't leave a shot here, so if the 1 ball gets out half an inch to the right, then it's easy for Albin to get control over the table. Now he has to hit the rail first and maybe leave the 1 ball there and bring the cue ball down, or vice versa. I think he played at a good speed.
So another safety exchange coming at you.
It's going to be a 2-rail kick shot. He leaves it. Not sure if it's open to pot or not. Definitely a chance to play a good safety here if he cannot make it, but it looks like he can actually cut it in. A lot of left hand outside English. Oh no, he doesn't even need. He can play it straight.
Pocket speed right in the heart. He's got to get this rack. Albin trails 9-7. Race to 13. Alternate break.
He wanted a little more angle here. It's a little straight. Because he needs the cue ball on the right side of the table. Nicely struck.
He's as cool as a hotel lobby in Doha, isn't he? He's just Mr. Cool. He just has the demeanor of that nothing bothers him. I mean, I know he does show an occasional frustration with his own game, but he comes right back. Certainly not showing any signs of panic.
Goes for the combination now, a little short. He wanted to come a little further down to have a more straight in combination here, but still looks okay because the ball was quite close to the pocket. Hit that ball a little bit too hard. Not happy, as we can see.
It's a pretty big shot here.
Yeah. Getting close within one game again. Or
oh, no. You could be looking at the match. This is what we talked about, Ralph. 1 millimeter. And he's down by 1.
Or maybe down by 3. There's no clear path, so I think he has to hit the rail first, maybe even massage the cue ball a little bit. I don't know, we can't really tell from this angle here. I think he has to massage a little bit because the 6 looks quite deep in the pocket.
Nicely done.
That's the best he could do. He hit it so thin that the cue ball became really fast and further away from the 9 than he wanted to. Big 9 ball now, very big.
Oh man.
Very big 9 ball. Look at this. Ooh, when you get he got a little lucky that he left it tricky because he can't play it in a side, and I don't know if he can actually make it in the corner without the cue ball scratching in the side pocket. But on the other hand, Albin should be happy that he gets another chance.
He's back at the table.
Yeah. So
just be happy to be on your feet and your cue in your hand. Boy, just when we were about to say Niels is getting closer to the finish line, he misses the 9 ball. But it wasn't a gimme, that's for sure.
That's a tough one. Because you always feel that the cue ball might go in the side. And that's why. But I think he can actually avoid it.
Oh, he got it.
Nice shot. Nice shot.
Wow.
And that's a confident builder. That's for sure.
Big time. Albin Ouschan staves off a huge deficit of 3 racks. The terrific pot on the 9 ball going down the rail to move within 1. Just a minute ago it looked like he was going to go down by 3. But it'll be Niels breaking. You know, this is just what Albin did yesterday all day. He just hung around.
Yeah, well,
battled.
He made the mistake here, but didn't get punished for it.
So 9-8.
Race to 4 or 5.
Yeah. $30,000 awaits the winner. $15,000 the runner-up. Niels will have a look at that. Now, you know, you can see the 1 ball at the top, 9 in the middle, 2 in the back. Everything else, random.
And this time more happy with the wrecking from the referee. Oops, watch the cue ball. Ooh.
9 ball was also moving.
Actually got lucky that the cue ball wasn't kicked in the side pocket here. That's going to be another tricky rack because the 4 ball not playable. Guarded by the 9 ball.
This has been a very tactical final. Neither player able to open up more than a 2-rack lead.
I wonder if Niels will try to get underneath the 9 ball and maybe, you know, leave the cue ball right behind the 9. Hits the 1 ball on the left side, and I don't know if he can see enough. I guess that's what he's looking at.
We'll give that man a round of applause. Nice shot there.
The angle looked different from here again. I didn't even...
Well, that's one thing we've discovered, that you cannot even trust an overhead camera to give you the exact angle that he's looking at. Although those are certainly spectacular shots there. Camera shots.
Where he's pointing now with the cue, that's where he wants to have the cue ball after he made the 2 ball, in order to make the 3 ball and break up the cluster 4-9. But first he needs to avoid hitting the 6 ball in order to get there.
One thing about this match, both these players are very comfortable out here. We haven't seen too many, any case of nerves. Some few mistakes, but no panic on the part of either player. I'm impressed with Albin Ouschan, 23 years old. He's out here like, you know, you just wouldn't expect a guy this young to have this kind of...
Well, he's been around quite long. I mean, I remember giving both Jasmine and him lessons many years ago, when Albin was still a junior, like I think 15 years old or so, maybe even just 14. So yeah, I mean he's been around quite some time, and they, you know, practice hard, practice a lot, and have people that, you know, were looking after them and you know, starting a good career.
Oh, he did it.
Nice shot.
Brilliant.
That was not an easy one.
Not only did he pot the 3, look at that, creates position for the pink 4. Now it's, after this, it'll be on to the green 6.
But not easy again, because the angle makes the cue ball go towards the 9. That's all he could do. Just try to avoid hitting the 9. But then you have to deal with a longer 6 ball.
Boy, rock solid potting. So far, well played by Niels Feijen. If he can get this rack, he'd have to be feeling really good. He got a little burned in the last rack by missing the 9. He's kept his composure.
Cut it in the side. Play with a little backspin to hold the cue ball. Again, 2-game lead, 10-8. Niels Feijen, 3 away from the world 9-ball title.
Yes, indeed. It will be Albin's break in rack number 19. If you just joined us, this is Ted Lerner, and I'm joined here in the commentary booth by none other than the Hall of Famer, the legend, Ralph Souquet. And boy, I know the fans around the world, Ralph, are so glad you're here to provide 40 years of not just knowledge, championship knowledge.
Well, thanks, Ted.
It's really, really helped, and it's just a pleasure to listen to how your insights and how you view the table and what these guys are going to do. I mean, not just from a tactical standpoint either. There's so much more to pool than just the geometry. There's a lot of the mental aspects of the game, the pressure, the drama, how they handle it.
And while
you've been there and done it all.
Yeah, almost. I've still a few titles missing on the list, but hey, you can win them all. While we are looking at the review of the last game here, the players took another break because now we have another 9 games down the wire. So after 18 games, there's the second timeout.
All right, so I think that's a good time for us to take a short break, and we'll let you go off to the fridge and grab a cold one, and we'll be back in just a minute here in Doha.
While Ted Lerner is on his bathroom break, I'm taking over by myself here as Albin Ouschan is inspecting the rack to break game number 19. Score is 10-8 in favor of Niels Feijen. And a very similar break than the one from Niels before. Cue ball just hit the edge of the side pocket and did not scratch. Unfortunately for Albin, he can't see the one ball and has to play a push out. He already called it. Question is, where to push out? Maybe he offers him a jump shot, puts the 7 ball between the 1 and the cue ball, or the 9 ball in between. That's what he's looking at. Now he's looking at but I don't really fancy that one. He might get it back. That's always a, yeah, that's what I figured. Even though Niels is one of the best jumpers in the game, he didn't fancy to take the shot.
A lot can go wrong too when you jump, right? So.
But these are situations where you really have to tell yourself, am I taking it or not? Because if you take it and you miss it, then you go crazy. And if you give it back and your opponent makes it, then you go crazy too. So it's like,
I think it's a good call, putting him in, and he's behind by 2, so see what he can do. Put the pressure on your opponent. It's sort of like putting the boot onto his neck.
Yeah.
You know, when he's down.
But Albin really didn't have many other options. Because if the object ball is close to the pocket, then you don't really have much room to push out to. But he got away with it. Didn't leave an open shot on the one. Only a safety here for Niels, which is also not easy.
A little bit of strain on starting to appear. Albin Ouschan, I mean, he had a long day yesterday, and it's a long day today. Semifinals were played just before this. Both of these players won by the identical score of 11-7.
From here, it looks like he could just hit the left side of the one ball, bring the cue ball into the kitchen behind the 4, and leave basically the one ball close to the 7. But the way he is stroking, he has something else in mind. Which was probably the wiser choice.
We keep going back to this point, but I think it's just essential to understand the progress that Niels Feijen has made in his career over the years. He's always been for the last 15 years, he's been a top player around the world, but he has added this safety play, this tactical play, especially in the last 2 years. He has buckled down and studied and practiced this side of the game, and he just will tell you anytime you have a conversation with him about his game now is that this has been the key, that he is very comfortable now in any safety exchange. How about that?
And he had the better end of this one again.
There you go. See,
getting ball in hand.
I mean, he said it. I mean, you can go on our WPApool.com. He said it in the article that I wrote last night that this is what has been winning him racks. The safety play.
Well, it's not only that you have to execute the safeties, you also have to see the shots to get the ideas. And once you have this in your repertoire, then you have to work on how to execute the shots. But first you have to see the options and get the ideas how to play safe. Now with ball in hand, this rack looks elementary, even though now we still here in the World Championship finals, so nothing is elementary, because you know there's a different kind of pressure that comes to you. But actually both players seem to handle the pressure very well here.
Niels came to the sport of American pool many years ago in the early 90s. He had started off playing a bit of snooker. A friend of his took him to the pool home. Back then in the Netherlands, they used to play 8-ball. 9-ball wasn't much of a sport, but he said that the thing that really turned him on about American pool and 8-ball was that you could break and run. And you could get the ball back, the cue ball, break and run again, and it was just so exciting for him. And it's, you know, he's always been that he's had an explosive offense on the table. But real success is not going to come with just offense in this game.
I think in any game. I mean, you cannot win by just being offensive. You know, usually the defense wins you the game. I mean, you still have to make the balls. I mean, you can't win with defense only. that's a given thing, but you know, you usually don't win just because you keep running wrecks. There are those several moments where you have to play safety or get out of a safety, and that's what makes you win titles.
Well, Niels Feijen has the motor running now. 11-8, 2 more. You won't see his demeanor change, though. He is all business.
And that's the first 3-game lead. 11-8.
Boy, what this would mean for Niels Feijen to win a world championship after all these years.
He's been in the finals of the 8-ball.
8-ball.
And was on the short end against Carl Boyce in Fujairah several years ago.
One rack.
I think it went, yeah.
Yeah, 12-11 he lost. And he said that was quite hard to get over.
Yeah, but he did win the straight
He
ball.
broke dry in the very last rack, and Boise ran out on him. And won the straight pull, yeah. It's not over yet. I mean, last night, Albin Ouschan was looking dead in the water to Antonio Gabica at 10-7, but I can tell you Gabica didn't look as rock solid as Niels Feijen does right now. Gabica was real shaky in that match. I think in the pool world, if Niels can get the final 2 racks, this would be a very popular win. He'd be a popular champion.
Yeah.
Well liked around the pool world. Great guy. He's the kind of guy that always takes. You can always judge a guy that takes his losses well. Mm-hmm. You're like that, Ralph. You know, I mean, you can see you're devastated after a loss, but you know, you talk to people and.
Yeah, well,
you know,
nobody likes to lose, obviously. You know.
Yeah.
But I think it's
gracious in defeat.
Yeah, I think it's very important actually to be a good loser, if there is a good loser. But
yeah. Look at this break.
Yeah, you have to accept that, you know, sometimes the opponent just plays better than you, even if he is just luckier than you. But it's part of the game, because you know, maybe the next 3 matches you are on the lucky side and you win the match. So it's, you know, over a long span of time, it will even out. Yeah, perfect break here. He made 4 balls. Nice opening with the 1 ball. He just needs to get down to where the 9 ball basically is, in that area, to be able to play the 4 in the side pocket. A little too short here. I looked at the bank shot. Hit the bank shot nice, but didn't hit the 6 ball the way he wanted to. But the problem was that the position from the 1 to the 4 was too short. He obviously didn't want to come too long, because if you get too close to the 9, he might have hooked himself. And that having in mind, you understroke the 1 ball, and that's why he came short like 2 diamonds. That's a tricky one here. I don't know if he can actually cut it to the left corner here. Well, he could, but then the cue ball is all over the place. It might even run into the 9, and then you completely don't know what's going on. I guess he's trying to cut it in the opposite corner.
Okay.
Nice shot.
Well done.
Well, he escaped that one.
Yeah, a lot of times when players run out of position, it always happens like 2-3 balls later, they end up missing. It's like a slippery slope, but yeah, you're right. He got out of that one and looking good now to get on the proverbial hill. The hill, as we say in pool, one away from victory.
And with a comfortable 4-game lead.
So Niels Feijen with this basic 9-ball to move within one of the world title. There it is. Just got to keep his eye on the prize. 1 to go. Albin will be breaking in the next rack. Well, this would be the first World 9-Ball Championship for the Netherlands.
Yep. Hu Jisi won the World 10-ball title. Niels won the straight ball. And yeah, 9-ball, that would be the first world title.
What a moment for the 37-year-old from The Hague to be on the cusp of his first World Championship, and you know, this would just put to rest any talk that you know, Niels is great, but he doesn't win the big one. That monkey will be off his back.
Well, I think that monkey is already off the back.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or at least last year, with winning the Whirlpool Masters twice, being MVP in the Mosconi, and so I mean he's proven already that he can win the big ones.
But I mean, there's 2 big ones: the U.S. Open, World 9-Ball, that you gotta have on your resume. You gotta have it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, it does make people stand up and take notice. Just a little more than the ones you mentioned. So,
but it's not in the books yet.
not yet. Not yet. Still the same demeanor out of Ouschan. Never looks too worried about anything.
Well, he's basically with his back to the wall, so he has nothing to lose from here. He can only win. And even if he doesn't, he has accomplished a lot, you know, making it to the finals. You know, letting 126 players in the main field behind him, plus the ones that didn't even qualify.
As Niels likes to say, 128 monsters. A good way to get one back here. A break and run out. Fastest rack we've seen so far. That makes the score 12-9 in favor of Niels Feijen. Niels will be up at the table breaking in rack number 22.
Have we seen a 900 break here by any chance on the TV table?
No. Not that I know of. There was, Gabika had one yesterday. That may have been the only one in this tournament. There hasn't been many.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering.
That would be nice. Boosty had a 9 on the break to win it.
Here in Qatar, yeah.
Yeah, here in Qatar when it was here the first year.
Yeah, I witnessed that. I was in the stands,
Yeah.
actually on the balcony when it happened. Yeah.
So the referee just getting the balls frozen, and Niels is going to give it one more go. Again, he leads 12-9, race to 13.
Well, serving for the match, as they would say in tennis.
Niels hoping this will be the last time he has to check this record. Well, don't touch the balls. Players aren't allowed to touch the balls. They can request that the referee come in and adjust them.
Yeah, but the problem is if the referee doesn't know how to adjust them, then you better be off doing it yourself.
All business. You would have no idea that at this point he is on the cusp of history.
Medium soft break. Successful, but no easy or open shot on the one. He didn't want to lose the cue ball, that's why he... I mean, actually the last breaks I've seen from Niels were like more of a medium hard breaks or medium soft. He didn't really hit him as hard as he did in some of the other matches I've watched.
He looks the same on the outside as he has all match, but Ralph, you've been in this position before. What do you think is going on inside?
I don't know. I mean, it could be different. You know, he could be already thinking about it. Oh, just one more, then I've reached, you know, whatever, or a dream come true. Or maybe he's not even thinking about it at all. Just
So focused.
Just trying to stay focused and just trying to win that particular game. And then maybe realizing, oh yeah, with this game I've won it all. You know, I don't know. I mean, everybody has different thoughts and different ideas, obviously. And
well, countless times you've been in position where you're, you know, in the rack to win it. If you win that rack, I mean,
but still,
are you able to block out the thoughts of oh, if I get this rack, this is the Mosconi Cup, or I'm going to be champion?
It depends on. I mean, I've had probably, I don't know, 25 different thoughts in the final or in the case game. You know, I mean, it's never the same because there are different circumstances that, you know, made it possible to get to the hill, and maybe you had a big deficit and you came back, or maybe you were leading all the way and all of a sudden your opponent came back. I mean, it's always a different scenario, and you can never say it's always been the same thought that you had. You know.
Well, it's definitely been a workman-like performance from Feijen today. And he looks pretty well focused right now as he considers what his options are on this one ball.
Okay, he tries to cut it in and play a safety at the same time. No, he just went for the safety. And hit it. Not good. Left the shot for Albin. I had a similar situation in my case game with Gallego that I unfortunately lost. That, I mean, my shot was a little more difficult because the distance from the cue ball and the 3-ball was a little more than this one here. But I played it as bad as Niels did here, and left Ramil an open shot. And I think, you know, Niels, I think he actually wanted to get the cue ball, you know, just closer to the 2.
It's a nice shot.
But maybe he should have tried to actually cut it in and get 3 rails and maybe get behind the 2, and then there was always a chance to play a safety from there. and stick him behind the 4. But it's always easier from outside, or you know, as a commentator or a spectator, than when you are at the table. Especially when a World Championship title is on stake.
Here's a chance for Albin Ouschan to apply a little heat. Rarely is the last game easy.
Yeah, it's never easy. Even when it looks easy and 6 balls are just hanging in the pockets, you know, there's always a way to make it more difficult, and that's how funny the game can be sometimes. You know, you think it's impossible to miss, and all of a sudden you find a way. Well, 4 balls away from getting closer.
And like you say, he's a bit in freewheeling mode right now. He was dead in the water.
And it's going to be his break. 12-10, his break. Could be a 12-11. Albin Ouschan makes the 9-ball to bring the score to 12-10, and having the break in game number 23, he could close the gap to even 1 game.
2 years ago, Darren Appleton was cruising to the World 9-ball Championship in this very arena.
He was leading, what, 12-4, 12-3?
Yeah, 12,
he had a huge
12-4, and then slowly but surely Li Wen from China came back, and everyone kept saying, nah, it's just, he's just getting 1. Nah, it's just another one. It's just going to be a few more moments, and Darren's going to raise it.
He started freewheeling.
Oh, yeah. And Darren started feeling the heat big time, and by the time it was 12-12 and Darren got up to break the last rack, I mean, I just thought that, I was wondering how Darren could even hold the stick. He was a wrecked man.
Yeah, but it was a great run out, the last one.
Yeah.
It was not an easy one.
Yeah. So, yes, Niels is on the cusp of a momentous victory, but he hasn't achieved that victory yet. (12-10), and in rack 23, all the odd number racks, it will be Albin Ouschan to break. Exactly what he did yesterday, Ralph. He hung around all day in all 3 of his matches. Came back against Roman Hibbler, came back against Antonio Gabica. Ball down. 1 ball is down, so he's got to get a shot on the 2, and he is going to get a shot on the 2.
It's just a little tricky to get on the 3. Because he cannot hold the cue ball. He can maybe follow through, bring the cue ball to the left rail, then down to the bottom rail, and back to the 3-ball, which means he has to stroke it harder, and that makes the pocket obviously smaller. But I think that's the only option. He might be able to draw in between the 5 and the 7, but then he has to make sure that to avoid to hit the 6 on the way back to the right side of the table. So I don't know what is easier, what he prefers. That's also personal preference here. And looks like he has to cue over the top pocket there. It's not happy with the queuing at all. I think for these shots, a shot clock would actually help, because you have to shoot it, and whatever comes into your mind first, that's what you're gonna do, and it's usually the right thing anyways.
Well, since he's won these last 2 racks, there's what a bit of tension has built up here in the arena.
Well, he chose option 3. Drawing the cue ball over just 1 rail. And the crowd is a little silent here. It was actually not a bad shot.
Yeah.
The position is not easy. Well, the shot is not easy, but a little more enthusiasm from the crowd would be nice.
Okay, can he hide the ball? No.
Not enough, no. You have a look in the crowd, seeing Mario Mora sitting there. Well, no pocket for Niels for the 3 ball.
Well, Niels is going to have to
Play a safety here
reach
somehow.
into his bag of tricks that he's picked up in the last few years with all this practice of the safety game here. This is when it's going to come in handy.
Well, it doesn't look that easy. I don't know. You can actually thin cut the 3 to make the 3 ball stop at the 6 and the cue ball 2 rails around and try to hide, but I don't know if
He's got some distance, but it is open. So much pressure on every shot now.
yeah, you don't want to make another mistake here.
Oh, difficult to see, even from the overhead angle.
I think he cannot see it. Luckily it went all the way to the short rail, so the jump is much tougher. You know, if 2 inches or 1 inch more to the right, then you have the 3 ball sitting right in front of the pocket, and it's easy to jump and run out. I mean, it's still easy to jump over, but with the position where the 3 ball is at, the cue ball might jump off the table and you give your opponent ball in hand. That's the problem here.
Well,
I would actually fancy maybe the Massey here, because you have a bigger area where you can hit the rail first and still make the 3 ball and make the cue ball go around, but that's player's preference here.
here comes the short stick.
Well, he hit it
He
perfect.
got it.
He hit it perfect. You cannot hit it any better. And it wasn't easy at all, because it was like maybe half a centimeter off the rail. So it's easy to hit rail first and miss the ball. But he hit it perfect, came around, but still has to deal with a tough 5-ball here. A little bit unlucky, actually.
So a great shot, a jump shot from Niels Feijen. But still, 5 balls left to clear for glory.
See you sitting in a chair, like Albin right now, and you're thinking, just give me another chance, you know.
Well, this is what he said he was thinking against Gabika, down 10-7 in a race to 11. He said, just give me one chance and I will kill you.
And Niels, on the other hand, is at the table and thinking, geez, couldn't it be an easier position? Because he doesn't want to give up the table again, you know.
This is what it's all about, isn't it? Right
Yeah.
here. This is, you know, sometimes the pool can lag and be a little slow at points, but when the trauma just builds and builds, and this is it right here. So much, everything literally riding on the line.
And there's no easy safety either here. That's the problem. I mean, of course you could try to bring the 5-ball to the lower rail here, getting close to the 8, and maybe try to hide the cue ball behind the 9, but if you don't get behind, then you leave your opponent maybe a good safety opportunity. And knowing Niels, he prefers to rather go for the shot and then.
Yeah, we talked a lot about his, you know, his newfound tactical game.
But the problem is if you don't have a good safety opportunity, you know, then you rather go for the shot, because if you're not feeling comfortable with the safety, then.
Oh no!
It was not easy at all. But he got away with it.
Wow.
But I don't know. He might be able to jump it. I don't know if he can see enough to jump it in the side or not, because the 8-ball is in the path a little bit. Different camera angle would be nice here.
He makes it. He's off to the races.
I guess the
But
jump
now-
shot is not on, because he's looking to kick 1 or 2 rails. Looks like 2 rails. Hit the short rail first, then the long rail. Clip the 5 in the side, but it's not easy. That's also easy to miss and foul if you try to make it in the side. If you come off the second rail. Oh, wow.
Oh no! Looked like he tried to make it, Ralph.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you had to try to make it. Yep, absolutely. It was just I wasn't sure if he was going to use 1 rail and try to kick it direct or hit the second rail, but the fact that the 5-ball is not actually hanging in, it was probably the right choice to go this way.
but he missed it by the smallest of
Millimeter.
margins. Now, ball in hand.
And now only 4 balls away from the World 9-ball title after 3 hours of play.
Here it is.
And you actually can't ask for a better layout with ball in hand than the last 5 balls, because there's not really much spectacular to do. You just have to roll in a few shots.
Niels Feijen handed ball in hand with 5 balls on the table, now down to 2 elementary balls for the World 9-ball Championship. Here it is.
And now he knows it.
One ball for the title. Yes. There it is. Niels Feijen is your new 2014 World 9-Ball Champion. He wins by a score, a hard-fought score of 13-10. What an accomplishment.
And you can tell, I mean, it hasn't sunk in yet. You can tell, I mean, I've seen him celebrating after matches where he won the European and so, like, really going off, but he can't really.
Well, he's going to well up. You can see it. The tears are coming because the thousands of hours, the thousands of miles, the heartaches along the way, and
but here's the phone texting Cat.
That's right. That's right. Wow, what an emotional moment. What an effort by Niels Feijen. He is the new World 9-Ball Champion. Ralph, it's been great working with you. I've got to go do, if you want to hang out here, I got to go do the awarding ceremony.
Yeah, no problem, Ted.
Okay, we're glad. Look at that. Look at the emotion on the face of
he's actually
Niels Feijen. Fantastic stuff, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We just saw the final 9-ball of Niels Feijen again, winning his first World 9-ball title over Albin Ouschan. It was a great final. Both players played great. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, and hope we'll see you guys again next year. Back.
Ladies and
European Championships in August.
And Kazum is also streaming the European Youth Championships in August. So stay tuned. It's only 6 weeks roughly from now on, and thanks for them for a great live stream free of charge, which is not normal nowadays. But now we go into the official prize giving ceremony, and I'll let you with it for that. Thanks for tuning in, and bye-bye.
And I might say that I've come into this event for several years. This is my 4th year, and it just keeps getting better and better. And our hats off to all the pool fans, first of all, from around the world, to the Qatar Billiard and Snooker Federation for taking this event to another level, especially with the live stream. That has taken the sport to a point that we've never seen. Imagine all 14 tables at one time going live around the world. What a promotion for the sport of pool. Let's hear it for the Qatar Billiard and Snooker Federation. Wow, thank you. Well, at this point, this is the time we hand out all the accolades, and we want to recognize some people here. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome His Excellency Sheikh Saud bin Abdulrahman Al Thani, the Secretary General of the Qatar Olympic Committee. We'd also like to welcome here the President of the World Pool Billiards Association, Mr. Ian Anderson. The President of Qatar Billiard and Snooker Federation, Mohammed Al-Nuaimi. And of course, an event such as this could never happen without the generous contribution of our sponsors. And in this case, we'd like to thank the main sponsor of the World 9-Ball Championship, Waraka Tables.
Ladies and gentlemen, how do you feel? You said to me you would only have to like it when you won the World Championship.
Alcas TV.
Have you got anything to say to all your
Great pictures today, guys, from Alcas. We'd also like to thank Simonis for providing the cloth, and the Arabic for providing these great pool balls. Please ask them to come up to the podium. I'd like to bring up the president of the World Pool Billiards Association, otherwise known as the WPA, Mr. Ian Anderson, to have say a few words.
I hope you do well. I'm going to go to the runner-up. Yeah, there's no final. Congratulations. You took out that took side. On behalf of all of us. Thank you. Yeah. Fantastic. Is there anything you'd like to say to all your fans?
Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Well, what a fun.
There you go,
It
ladies
was
and gentlemen. You heard
a real
it.
battle there.
The second best
And
player.
congratulations to our new world champion, Niels Feijen of the Netherlands. I'd also like to congratulate Albin Ouschan for a fine effort in reaching the final. I'm sure he's got a win in store in the coming years. He's only 23 years of age, so there's plenty of time yet for Albin. I know Ted has already thanked all the sponsors, and I would like to endorse those thanks, but I'd particularly like to thank the Campfire Billiards and Snooker Federation for once again putting on a marvellous exhibition year on how to present the championship. It's absolutely outstanding, and what you've presented to the world here, you really should be proud of. We've had, I believe, over 100,000 people watching online through the courtesy of Zoom. First-rate quality pictures all over the world. Choice of falling stages.
معايا البطل ناس
And thank you for one contribution.
بس قبل التتويج بسرعة.
I gotta go,
I'd like to thank all the players and wish them a safe journey back home from wherever they come. We really appreciate your support coming here to take part in these events. It's not easy, and we really appreciate it. And last but not least, I'd like to thank all the volunteers who've spent so much time here during the week just to make sure everything was right, all the officials, the referees. Quite often the thankless task, but you've done it wonderfully well, and we're very proud and thank you very much. And one final thing, for all the people that have come through the week to support the event, thank you for your patronage. You've been great supporters, you've been very even in your support for the players. They really appreciate it, and I thank you for coming. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, we're now going to bring the players up, I believe. Okay. First, we'd like to bring up we're going to distribute the medals. Again, the president of the World Pool Billiards Association, Ian Anderson. We'd like to bring up the president of the Chanpionship and Snooker Federation, Mr. Mohammed Al-Dualini. He is to present the medal and check to the runner-up. Okay. A check for $15,000. A silver medal goes to this young man from Austria who wowed us all throughout this tournament, especially today with incredible talent and courage and fortitude. Would you please welcome up your runner-up from Austria, Albin Ouschan. to welcome up Secretary General of the Qatar Olympic Committee, His Excellency Sheikh Saud bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani. Ladies and gentlemen, here to receive his gold medal, his winner's check for $30,000, and more importantly, the title of 2014 World 9-Ball Champion from the Netherlands, the Terminator, Niels Feijen! The ceremony's over, but where's the bucket, the box of tickets? Okay. All right, we're gonna draw for the pool table. Who wants a pool table? Yeah? Okay. We'd like to call Daphne from Morocco to come over here and pull the winning ticket. Daphne from Morocco. Please come to the podium where we will pull the winning ticket. Okay, here we go. Daphne, give a round of applause to Daphne from Morocco. She's the one that said, let's give away the table. It's worth $4,000. Okay. Here we go. Music down, please. Music down. Music. Okay, the winner of a Waraka pool table worth $4,000 goes to 7. One, yeah. Here's your winner. What's your name? Come here. Jerry. And what's your name? Victor. You play pool? Twin brothers. Look at this. They're gonna have a little fun. You got room for the table? You got room for the table at home? You do now. He actually has room for the table. I guess you guys are gonna be playing some pool, huh? Don't forget your homework, okay? Wow, you're on vacation for 2 months. Amazing. Congratulations. This is the winner right here. 7 2 months. So, you talked to our friends here.